dated May 12, 1985, and tossed it and the others into the carport. He sidestepped the baby stroller and knocked on the side door. No answer. Then he rang the front doorbell a few times. Nothing. He rang it again. A baby cried. Seefeld thought it sounded like Jana, 21 months old. He rang the doorbell again. Another cry. Katie Eastburn couldn't possibly have left her toddler alone in the house. Seefeld wondered if he heard right. But what else sounds like a baby crying? He called Jeanette over to see if she could hear the cry. He rang again. That's the baby, Jeanette said. Call somebody. Seefeld instructed with more confidence than he felt. Jeanette fumbled through the phone book, but the pages shook in her hands. She found a listing for Julie Zerniak, the Eastburns' babysitter who lived a few houses away. Julie, I think something terrible has happened, she said. Julie gave her the Eastburns' number, and Jeanette called. The phone rang and rang. Please let her answer, Jeanette whispered. She let it ring some more. She next tried the Cumberland County Sheriff's Department. At 12:53 p.m., the dispatcher relayed a child neglect call. Deputy William Toman was patrolling nearby on Santa Fe Drive, checking stores along Bragg Boulevard until his shift ended. He heard the call and figured he was closer to Summer Hill than anyone. Toman told the dispatcher he'd handle it and arrived 4 minutes later at 367 Summer Hill Road. Julie beat Toman to the house. Jana's standing there in her crib, she told Seefeld. Why wasn't someone going in to get her? Julie ran to the back of the house and tried to open a bedroom window. Don't touch nothing, Seefeld hollered. Just go on, Julie told him. I want to get in and find out. Deputy Toman showed up in no mood for nonsense. The sheriff's department had procedures to follow on child neglect calls, and Toman was not one to stray from procedures. He tried to make sense of what Julie was saying, then dismissed her as loud and irrational. Something about a child in a crib. Seefeld was still irritated that Julie was trying to break into the house. All right, I'll handle it from here, Toman said, before they could worry him further. Toman checked all the doors and windows. No forced entry. He found a note jammed inside the storm door. Mrs. Eastburn, get in touch with your husband by phone. Deputy Price. Toman shrugged and rang the doorbell. No one stirred. No baby cried. Seefeld felt a little foolish. Neighbors began to gather in the street. Toman's sergeant drove up and was talking to the young deputy on the front porch. What do you think we should do? The sergeant asked. Toman wasn't sure. Then he heard the crying. He leaned over the porch railing, pressed his nose to the bedroom window, and cupped his hands at his temples. Little Jana Eastburn stood in her crib, her arms outstretched to anyone. I've got no choice, Toman told his sergeant. I've got to go in. Toman stepped over the railing, sliced the screen, and lifted the window. He poked his head in and smelled death. Jana wanted out of that room. Her white pajamas with blue and yellow flowers reeked. She was pale and gaunt, her eyes puffy from so much crying. A slew of stuffed animals and toys had been placed in her crib, as if someone expected Jana to need entertaining for a while. She had tossed them onto the floor. Jana wrapped both arms around Toman's neck, digging her tiny fingers into his back. It's all right, he told her. It'll be all right. He passed Jana out the window to Seefeld and found a neatly stacked pile of Pampers next to the crib, along with a bottle. He handed the diapers and bottle to Seefeld and turned to face the rest of the house. The smell was getting stronger. He steeled himself for a grisly body count. It didn't matter how many bodies I found, he would say later. I was more worried about what I was going to find alive. Toman drew his gun and opened the door. He looked to his right, toward the master bedroom. 3-year-old Erin Eastburn lay beside her parents' bed, the bottom half of her body protruding from under a white nightgown with delicate lavender stripes and bows. A pillow leaned against her face. The nightstand beside the bed had been